is art is not about the replication of nature. The person who can paint the bird most accurately does not win. Never has and never will. Art is not about the replication of nature. It is about the manipulation of form. And I'll explain what manipulation of form is. If you can get that single idea into your brain and convey it to your students, you will be on the road to understanding art. It is not about the replication of nature. It is about the manipulation of form. And to have the capacity to replicate nature is wonderful. I went to high school with a guy who set the state record in the 100-yard dash. A wonderful accomplishment. And most of his adult life he pumped gas until I guess he ran out of gas pumpers. And illustration is the same way. If you can replicate nature with exquisite detail, you are somewhere shy of a $7 camera from the drugstore. Since the invention and perfection of the camera, there has been little or no value placed on the replication of nature by the human hand. Like I said, it's a wonderful skill. You can fascinate people at the party. You can draw these wonderful trees in front of an audience, but that's not what art's about. It is about how you manipulate these various elements, principles, and what you come up with. Now, if you look at the bottom of this form, you'll see in the top block, it says, line, shape, value, color, and texture. Those are those elements of art that the artist controls. I can make colors, I can make lines, I can make shapes, I can make values, I can make textures. That's what I can do with my hands. And what you have on the bottom is how you control those, which is balance, proportion, dominance, movement, and economy. We'll talk a little bit about those in a minute. So that's how we are manipulating these forms, manipulating the elements. And I like to liken this to the ability to juggle, which I've taught myself. And I've had some tennis balls. I can kind of get 3 tennis balls in the air for about 2 revolutions, and then they all go over there. I can juggle. The circus has come to town many times since I learned to juggle, and they've never asked me to go away with them. That's because I can only juggle 3 things for 1 minute. 10 seconds, actually. The fact of the matter is that a great artist, and we can look at these, can manipulate all these elements. They can keep it balanced. They can have proper proportion, dominance. They can do all that. They have the proper amount of harmony and the proper amount of variety. Too much harmony, you end up with a picket fence. Too much variety, and you got a pile of brush. Neither of which anybody wants to look at much. Okay? So the ability to make art is much more related to the ability to keep all this under control simultaneously. And when you decide that you've got some blob of yellow in the upper left-hand corner of your painting because nature requires it, and the replication of nature requires it, then you are obligated to balance that in the rest of the composition. And if you don't, you have made bad art that looks like nature. Now, you think about nature. If you drive your car, you can drive your car for 20, sometimes 30, sometimes 50 miles without ever finding a scenic overlook. Nature seldom arranges itself in such a way that it makes for a scenic overlook. if you go around replicating nature, as a sculptor, I can tell you very few people should be sculpted with great accuracy. And the same thing can be said about bikinis and those little things the guys wear, Speedos, yeah. So nature isn't demanding to be replicated. It's what we want is we want classic Greek perfection. We want classicism. We don't want reality. So, but we're going to come back to that in a minute. What I want to try and do is to get you to understand this and use it. And what you see at the top is called the foundation of art. Every piece of art of any merit stands on this sort of four-legged stool of subject, form, content, and style. And those are four separate, completely separate things.